Final Fantasy Adventure Summary. You play as a soldier named Sumo. At the beginning of the game, you are a prisoner and has to fight a tiger monster. After the defeat of the monster, a friend of Sumo is dying. As he dies, he warns Sumo that their imprisoner, Dark Lord, intends to use the power of mana for evil, and that he should seek a man named Bogard. Sumo fights another monster to escape the prison. Once outside, he hears two individuals talking with each other about the power of mana. One called Julius, and the other is Dark Lord himself. As Julius leaves, Dark Lord notices Sumo, and Sumo tries to escape. Dark Lord pushes Sumo down the cliff. Sumo survives the fall and begins his journey. Along the journey, he meets with the heroine Fuji, and they join together as they both plan on meeting Bogard. Once they find Bogard, Bogard explains that the pendant Fuji is carrying is the pendant of mana. He explains he was the Gamma Knight in the past and has fought the Valdor Empire. The Valdor Empire is an organization that previously tried to use the power of mana for evil. Just as the Valdor Empire was about to conquer the world, a lady with the same pendant as Fuji appeared and saved them. Bogard informed him to head east and speak with a man named Seba, as he should know more. As Sumo and Fuji go on their journey, they stop by an inn to rest. At the inn, Fuji gets kidnapped. Sumo needs to get a magic mirror which reveals the secret a person has. In the location of the magic mirror, a mysterious man helps Sumo. With the magic mirror, Sumo reveals who the enemy is and defeats him. After the defeat of the wolf, a new area at the inn opens up. At this area, Sumo is able to find Fuji and together defeat the mastermind behind the plan, a vampire. Once they both reach Seba, Fuji's mother appears and explains that she and Fuji are descendants of the mana tree, and the pendant Fuji is carrying is important. Once that is revealed, the town is attacked and the mysterious man from before comes and escorts Fuji to safety. Then it is revealed that the mysterious man from before is Julius himself and has kidnapped her on his airship. Sumo goes to rescue her. Along the way, there is a mountain that has a conscience and only lets people wearing silver get through. Sumo enters a dwarf cave nearby, and one of the dwarfs informs him of a cave where he can find silver. At the cave, he finds another dwarf who is also looking for silver. Together, Sumo and the dwarf defeat a megapede and obtain silver. The dwarf keeps it and makes it into armor. With the armor, Sumo is able to cross the mountain. Once outside the mountain, Bogard joins Sumo to save Fuji. Both Sumo and Bogard are able to get on the airship as it refuels. There, Sumo finds Fuji in the basement. Fuji tells Sumo to go meet her by the window. Once Sumo gets there, Fuji gives Sumo the pendant. Immediately afterwards, Julius arrives and knocks Sumo off the airship. Sumo lands in a house and it gets rescued by Amanda. Amanda was another Dark Lord's prisoners that also escaped. Upon waking up, Sumo realizes that he no longer has the pendant. While exploring the nearby area, there is a section that has poison gas that prevents Sumo from passing through. Sumo goes to a nearby town, and it turns out a man named Davius is terrorizing the people and turning them into animals. One of these people was Amanda's brother, who got turned into a parrot. Davius tells Sumo to behave himself while he's visiting the town, and tells Sumo that Amanda went to the cave of Medusa. To break the curse of Davius, a Medusa's tear is needed. When Davius enters the cave of Medusa, he finds Amanda. Sumo asks her if she was the one who took the pendant. Amanda explains that she was the one who took the pendant, but she did it in order to save her brother. She gave the pendant to Davius, but it was not enough for him to turn his brother back to human. She explained that she is now in Medusa's cave in order to save her brother. Sumo joins her in order to get a Medusa tear. Upon defeating Medusa, they were not able to find a tear. However, during the battle, Amanda was bitten and got Medusa's curse. The curse makes the person become a Medusa. Amanda tells Sumo to slay her before she turns into a monster. Sumo hesitates, but eventually follows through. Sumo gets possession of Medusa's tear and heads back to Davius' mansion. Davius is nowhere to be found. However, Sumo was able to turn Amanda's brother, Lester, back into human. Sumo informs him that his sister sacrificed herself to save him. Lester wants to avenge Amanda and asks Sumo if he wants to help. Sumo agrees and searches for Davius. Once they find Davius, he transforms himself into a monster, a mind flower, and fights both Sumo and Lester. Upon dying, Davius says that he is no longer in possession of the pendant and that he gave it to Dark Lord. After defeating Davius, Lester plays his instrument and the poison path from earlier is now clear. The path led back to the prison from the beginning of the game, Dark Lord's castle. At the castle, Sumo reunites with Fuji and together go to defeat Dark Lord. Just as Sumo was about to fight Dark Lord, Sumo tells Fuji to wait downstairs as it can be dangerous for her. After Sumo defeats Dark Lord, he realized the pendant Dark Lord had was a fake. When Sumo goes downstairs to meet Fuji, he realizes she's no longer there. When leaving the castle, Julius has Fuji under his mind control and takes her. Julius reveals that he's the last member of the Valdor Empire, the one Bogard fought against as mentioned earlier in the game. Under Julius' mind control, Fuji sets an enchantment and makes the nearby waterfall flow upward. Before Julius and Fuji ride the waterfall upwards, Sumo gets pushed off the ledge. Sumo falls into an area called the Crystal Desert and is carried by a Chocobo to a nearby town called Ish. Here, Sumo reunites with Bogard, who had been staying at Ish ever since he fell off the airship as well. Sumo starts to have his doubt that he is not the hope for humanity and that he's not the next Gamma Knight. Sumo and Bogard get into an argument and Sumo leaves the room. As Sumo steps out, a lady tells Sumo that Bogard sees hope in him, that she believes that Sumo is the last hope and that even a Chocobo can see that. She tells Sumo that the Chocobo that saved him is being treated by a doctor named Dr. Bow Wow in town. As Sumo meets the doctor, he so happens to be the town inventor. Dr. Bow Wow fixes Bogard's leg, which got damaged from carrying Sumo, and gives the Chocobo mechanical legs. Sumo goes back to speak with Bogard, and Bogard informs Sumo to go find Siba and Lorem. With the help of Chocobo, Sumo is not able to travel faster. When Sumo arrives to Lorem, the people are frozen and the door to Siba's room is frozen shut. The king tells Sumo that he must defeat the monster Carrie in order for everything to unfreeze. Sumo goes to the nearby cave and defeat Carrie. Afterwards, Lorem is no longer frozen and Sumo gets to meet with Siba. Siba informs Sumo that he must obtain the legendary sword Excalibur and gives Sumo a key. Siba tells Sumo to head west to an area called the Float Rock region. After arriving to the Float Rock region, Sumo finds the door to the key Siba gave them. The key opened a cave. After exploring the cave and defeating the Kraken, Sumo finds the legendary sword. However, to Sumo's surprise, it is rusty. Sumo goes back to Lorem and speaks with Siba, who informs Sumo to raise the Dime Tower. Sumo goes back to Ish and speaks with Dr. Bow Wow, who tells Sumo to go to the Cave of Ruins to obtain the magic spell Nuke. At the Cave of Ruins, Sumo defeats the Lynch and obtains the magic spell Nuke. With the magic spell Nuke, Dr. Bow Wow tells Sumo to use the spell to destroy a crystal in the Crystal Desert. With the power of Nuke, Sumo was able to destroy a crystal which opened up a hole in the floor, which led to a dungeon. After exploring, Sumo uses the rusty sword as a key and erases the Dime Tower in the Crystal Desert. When Sumo enters the Dime Tower, a machine named Marcy helps Sumo reach the top of the tower. Once they both reach the top of the tower, they defeat the monster Garuda. After Garuda's defeat, the tower begins to fall. As it falls, Marcy tosses Sumo to land to save him. As Marcy is unable to jump, he falls with the tower. Sumo's location is back at the start of the game, the prison. Sumo goes to the waterfall that is flowing upwards and goes to the Temple of Mana. Once Sumo exits the temple, Sumo meets with Fuji's mother, who then turns the rusty sword into the legendary Excalibur. When Sumo reaches the Mana Tree, Julius and Fuji are there. Julius explains that he has successfully obtained the power of mana. Sumo faces Julius. Julius has 3 phases, one where he clones himself, followed by turning himself into a monster twice. After Julius' defeat, the Mana Tree gets destroyed. Fuji's mother appears and explains to Fuji that she is the seed of the Mana Tree and that she is the last member of the Mana family. Fuji decides to sacrifice herself to become the last Mana Tree. Sumo, on the other hand, becomes the last Gamma Knight and becomes her guardian.